Howdy, folks. Going to share a little bit of a story time. There was something that appeared in my memories on Facebook that I wanted to share with you guys. It was a really cool night, really cool experience, and it was involving a active member of the United States Marine Corps. And just so you're familiar, I probably shouldn't, I don't know. My very first video was a terrible video. I literally used my phone to film my laptop screen. You could see the TV in the background. It was terrible. It was terrible quality. But my very first YouTube video I ever produced was dedicated to Captain Norris. When I say captain, he is a maritime captain, a charter fishing captain. And years ago, I don't remember how many years ago, I want to say I know it did pop up on my Facebook memories today. I do not remember how long ago it was. I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. But in this video, I'm going to call him Captain Billy, then I'm going to promote him, and you're going to understand why. Captain Billy is a really cool dude. He is not only a charter fishing captain, he was an all-state football player at Barron Collier High School. He went on to be a fullback at United States Air Force Academy. And then later he was able to transfer. I don't know if transfer is the proper word, but he later joined the United States Marine Corps. So Billy is he's a unique individual, and I feel disrespectful calling him Billy, but he is a friend, so we are kind of like on a first name basis. When I get later on in this dialogue, I will probably use a more formal title for my buddy Billy. And so I'm trying to be delicate in my word selection. He is and was in a highly specialized unit of the United States Marine Corps. I cannot divulge that. Matter of fact, I don't even know the unit he's in, but I know it's highly specialized. It's not your average grunt detail. It's they do special missions, and if I had to correlate it, it would be similar to what the Navy SEALs do on certain type missions and stuff like that. So I'm smart enough to read between the lines based on some dialogue he and I have had. I've never, ever asked him one thing about his service in the Marine Corps, because I know a lot of it is tragic and sad, but he has shared a story or two briefly, very limited, on some of his experiences. So I'm going to tell you about my buddy. Like I told you, the first video I ever did on YouTube was about him, and I did a piss poor job. But I felt like it was in my heart to represent Captain Billy first, even though I did not present it well. But he was a lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps, and I'm pretty sure he was just a lieutenant at the time. I don't remember. I do have film. There goes the phone again, as you guys all know about the phone situation. Pretty sure Captain Billy was a lieutenant at the time of this event, which was a send-off party for him. And I think, I'm trying to go by memory here. I do have video of this event, but unfortunately there was some language that's probably not suitable for this platform. But Captain Billy, when I say captain, I'm referring to him as a maritime captain, charter captain. But at that time, I'm pretty sure he was a lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps, and he was about to go on his fourth or fifth deployment, and those deployments are pretty much secretive. We pretty much all understood he was probably going to Afghanistan. He was never interrogated about that. Never wanted to do. I don't know what his other friends did. I never asked him about it. His stuff, but because he's basically not allowed to share that for national security reasons, and so I knew this was occurring. And right across from the bait shop where I used to work at in Bonita Springs, there was a American Legion hall that Billy and his friends used to enjoy, consuming some alcoholic beverages, beer and whatnot. And so I was in communication with the president of the American Legion of that club, and I forget his last name. His first name was Dana, and I said, "Hey, this is what I want to do. I want to kind of host a surprise party, like a send off for, well, I keep saying captain, it would basically in this term now, I think he was Lieutenant Norris, send off party and try and make it special and invite as many people as possible and, do some special things." And the guy, Dana, who was the president, was really cool dude, really cool. He still is a cool dude. Unfortunately, Hurricane Ian wiped out their facility. I don't know when that's going to be reestablished. The last he and I talked to Dana about 6, 7, 8 weeks ago at the post office because he's also a postal worker, and he said they have not reopened. But Captain Billy has served our country honorably for a long time, even after this story exists. And he, so we had a bunch of friends that showed up at this American Legion. It was kind of like, I forget how it transpired. I think I contacted his wife and, said, "Hey, can you have him here at this such time? We're doing something special." And the American Legion, like, they really don't mess around. They really do not tolerate a lot of profanity, even though there is a lot of like ex-military people, like they try and keep it like clean and everything like that. So the guy Dana, who was the president of the American Legion at that time, I think he still is. He went, damn phone, every time. He made this beautiful cake. If I can find the thumbnail picture, if I can find the picture, I will include it. But that was so many years ago on Facebook. I don't even know how to go back and find it in the archives. But made this beautiful cake, a tribute to the United States Marine Corps. It was really well done. I think President Dana I think he was in the Navy. But it was really cool because this guy did a really good, the last I heard, he was doing an outstanding job as president of the American Legion. I don't remember the lodge number. Something wants to tell me 366, but don't, it could be just my dementia. But so Captain Billy was going off to, he was going to go off to a dangerous situation, another deployment. We all knew he was in a specialized unit. We did not know what, how, where, when. We knew when. And basically, I think it was like after we had this party, I think the next day or the 2 days afterwards, he was being deployed for his fourth deployment to, fight the bad guys overseas. And it's harsh when you you're doing something positive for a brother. When I say a brother, in friendship. And when you realize, like, this dude who's up here singing and talking to people and unfortunately dropping F bombs and just talking like he does, and you're like, oh man, please, Billy, please, no more F bombs. I'm thinking, I'm like, please, Billy, I know that's how you talk, but there's 80-year-old women in here, like, please. So he's a really cool individual, despite what it sounds like. And when you see your friend, you're doing a send off for a friend who who's literally going into some violent combat situations, probably like terrorist activity, uh, countries. You realize, like, man, are we witnessing his departure, like literally his life departure? Is he gonna, are we witnessing the death of a honorable Marine? So I'm not saying witnessing the death. That probably didn't come out too well. But are we witnessing the final salutation of an honorable United States Marine, who I think at the time, I think he was a lieutenant, and who, that party was so successful. And I got to play something for you. I don't think this is a copyright strike, but I've got to play it because this is what occurred. Uh, I'm going to call him Captain Billy, then I'm going to call him Lieutenant Billy. Then I'm going to, as you're going to see later in the video, he is Major Norris, or Major Billy. I really don't like revealing the name, but so here's what's going on. Too bad. I don't know how this is going to play out, but this is the Marines hymn, Halls of Montezuma, and Captain Billy. This makes me laugh, but it makes me cry at the same time. Uh, Captain Billy stood before everyone in that American Legion, and he sung this Marine Corps hymn, the Halls of Montezuma, and it was very, very powerful because he did it very honorably, and he was a little sauced up, and I'm not going to lie, probably most of the people in there had a little bit in them, and but he did it so well. He did it so damn well. Uh, I don't know what you can hear because I have my headphones on now. I'm wondering if I should have taken the headphones off. But when he sang the Halls of Montezuma and stuff like that, he did not miss one word. He was so well versed on that and the meaning of that, that it was definitely inspirational. And then when Mr. Dana presented him this cake that he had paid for through the American Legion funds. It was a custom made cake. Damn, I wish I could find that picture, and presented that to, at the time it was Lieutenant Billy, Captain Billy as a maritime representative, and it was wow. You talk about a powerful moment when he saw that. Like, Billy is pretty strong, does not really get emotional or anything, but you could see him kind of well up when they brought this rolling cart out and put that cake in front of him while he was on stage there. I can't remember. I think it was after he sang the Marine Corps hymn. So it, like, my message today is, like, if you have friends or family in the military, please always give them a proper send off because they may not come back. It's a sad reality. Fortunately, Lieutenant Billy did come back. He was later promoted to captain. And I'm proud to say the last time I talked to him, which has been a little bit of a while, because all my personal problems, I've not really kept up great dialogue. He did help me out with something a while back. The last I heard, he was a major now in the United States Marine Corps, which is a very, very admirable, high-ranking position. And you don't get there by being stupid, and you don't get there by kissing ass. You get there through hard work and hard effort. So I'm very excited to kind of share this story. I feel like I felt at that time I felt validated. Like I did not serve in the military. I'm very regretful that I did not. There was reasons I did not, and but knowing what I did to give back to which I will say now Major Norris, was it gave me some sense of validation for my life. And we had a cut up night, and it went on for the wee hours of the night. There was a picture of a bunch of us outside that we took together right before he's getting ready to be deployed. And every time I look at that picture, I'm like, could this be the last group picture we had together? If something, if he was KIA and stuff like that. So it really makes you happy that you did something positive to give back to United States military. And I don't know where I'm really headed with this conversation, but it was a very rewarding night for me to see him participate, and so many people embrace him, even with all his F-bombs that he dropped on people. I literally thought we were going to get kicked out, or at least he was going to get kicked out. It would suck to get kicked out of your own party, but 80-year-old people, the way he presented his F-bombs and his dialogue, like people just embraced it. And I was like, oh man, this is going to go south real quick. Nope. People embraced him. They loved him. So many people came up, shook his hand. It was special, really special. So here's one thing I want to mention, and this is not meant to be derogatory. I've been involved with some different organizations, two organizations that are helping military veterans. I said that incorrectly, military veterans. And I do not want this to be misconstrued as a negative comment. And a lot of people refer to all services of the military as soldiers. And it all depends on your perspective. But if you talk to a Marine, they are not soldiers. They would refer to themselves as warriors, devil dogs, or whatever you want to call them. And so I know people do not mean to do this as a derogatory term. Basically, soldiers would be members of the United States Army, to my understanding. But all these military people are warriors. So I don't know how to say this gracefully, but when I just know this from talking to many friends that are Marines. If you call a Marine a soldier, they almost feel slighted, and it's not. I'm not saying this to be derogatory anyway. I'm just trying to clarify the terminology of what is thrown around. I understand why people use soldier, because that's like a basic, like a generic term for that. But so the Marines go through a lot of hard training. I'm not saying they're there's different branches of each military branch. Everyone has specialized units. Everyone goes through different, boot camp and training and stuff like that. So it just try and be cognizant. If you call a Marine a soldier, that could be slightly offensive because they feel like they have excelled through their basic training and their training, just training in general. That could be derogatory, and this is not I'm just trying to share some information, and I have some friends on here like Dan and some other people that have been in the Army that I hope I'm not ticking them off, but this is just a informative video. Basically, I'm talking about Major Norris, United States Marine Corps, and some of the things, their beliefs. So anyway, when you realize you're saying goodbye to a friend going overseas who may never come back. He's fighting the bad guys on behalf of us, all of us, all of us, back homeland and stuff like that. It can be very emotional. And we had a great night that night. He did come back. And right now, at the last I know, he's kind of like in limbo because it had something to do with the jab, the mandatory shots. So that's that. I hope I did not offend anybody from any branch of the military or anything like that. Just trying to share my little bit of knowledge. I'm so happy that my friend is still alive and he has served our country honorably. And when you achieve the rank of major in the United States Marine Corps, which when we talked, I don't know, it was like almost a year ago, he was possibly up for promotion to colonel. And then there were some issues with the jab. So anyway, I just want to let you know that I respect the military, all branches of the military, and I'm just trying to share this message because something did pop up on the timeline. I think the picture of his cake popped up on the timeline yesterday or today or whatever, and if I can find it, I'll put it on this thumbnail. Today is July 31st, so this may not appear until August 1st. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in, and please always respect, support the military in any way you can. They're very valuable to our long-term success. So that's it, people. That's all I got to say. Thanks for tuning in to Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors. Remember, always know your legal limits.